Last week, the Gratton Cup Series headed to the Oregon International Speedway for the very first time, and it was Noah Clifton who came out on top, dominating the second half of the race after pulling off great pit stops. Well, today, he starts from 7th in his quest to go back-to-back, as we head to a track that Nicotech Racing have done quite well at previously, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, for the BetMGM 400. It is the 6th race of the 2025-26 Gratton Cup Series here in the West, in the desert of Nevada, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Gratton Cup Series here from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the BetMGM 400. 67 laps coming your way today. This 1.5 mile speedway here in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is going to be a very, very interesting race. This racetrack historically has seen a lot of overtakes, a lot of passing, and some very, very, very big accidents historically. So we'll see if that ends up being the case today. It may or may not be. We'll see what happens. It is nice and sunny. It's the first time, I think. Well, certainly last week was a bit cloudy at Oregon, but it's nice and sunny today, so we'll see how this race plays out. Be less grip on the track, so we may see some incidents here today. I'm Stuart Gratton, your host, and I'm all my own today, so we'll get this one underway very, very shortly. We'll take a look here at the championship standings after 5 races, I should say. You see that on your screen right now. Henrik Waugh has an 18-point advantage over Tristan Allen and Dawson Miller. 18-point advantage over the two of them. Allen, the winner at Texas a few weeks ago, of course. Waugh, of course, the championship leader, won at COTA the week prior to that. And he's led basically the points since that win at COTA. Noah Clifton, last week's winner, 20 points back in the number 13, so he's not that far out of it. Brandon Bent in the 27, you see him starting 4th here today. Dawson Miller, of course, in the front row. Noah Clifton starting 7th, Tristan Allen starting 8th. The 27, Brandon Bent, 5th in the championship. Kelly Lee hasn't qualified particularly well this year, but has done a good job in race trim, starting from the 6th in points, I should say, in the number 76, 34 back. Jake Rogers is 41 back in the number 40. Matthew Hubert, once again qualifying 3rd for the second straight week. He's 8th in points and leading the Rookie of the Year standings as well. 43 back. And then Dominic Anthony, the reigning winner of this race, he's in the number 39. He starts from the 10th position today. He is 9th in points, has recovered quite well from what happened at Daytona, and same can be said for Julio Cesar. Anthony 49 points behind, Julio Cesar 55 behind, so still should be said a fair ways back in terms of the championship. You get, of course, maximum 47 points. If you win the race, you lead the most laps. The COTA pole sitter of Ken Rowley will lead the field to green today, so he's the first driver to win 2 poles this season in the Cup Series. In the number 10, he's got his teammate right alongside Dawson Miller here in the number 48 on the outside of the front row. Third, technically tied for second in the championship. Matthew Hubert in the number 8 is doing quite well for himself. He's done a magnificent job in that number 8. He comes in this race 8th in points, starts 3rd today. Brandon Bent in the number 27 will start from the 4th position, the 2-time series champion. Charlie Davenport in the 52, teammate to Hubert, is 11th in points coming into this race. And the Atlanta winner, Benny Watson, has been cruelled by some misfortune this year, hoping to just have a clean run today and a good result. Noah Clifton, our last winner. In fact, our last 2 winners share row 4. Clifton, the winner at Oregon last week, and Tristan, the winner at Texas 2 weeks ago, last season's Cup champion. Richard Fridge got his 3rd career top 5 last week at Oregon, and is hoping to continue that form with a 9th place start today. And the winner of this race last season, Dominic Anthony in the number 39. He got the job done with a last lap pass last season. Richard Fridge, teammate of Max Davis, starts from 11th alongside Tyson Gifford, the runner-up at COTA a few weeks ago. Rogal Dawn starts from the 13th position alongside Julio Cesar in the 26th. We mentioned top 10 points now coming into this race. Alexander Rose had some bad luck in 2 of the last 3 races while running well, so number 51 hoping for some good luck today. He's joined by Christian Vargas in the 36th. They share row 8. There's Kelly Lee starting from the 17th position, 16 points coming into this race. A nice qualifying effort from Josh Williamson in the number 1, starting from 18th today. Jake Rogers, 7th in the championship, coming into this race, starting from the 19th position. And the 45 of Nicholas Samadeo, who is right on the cusp at the moment. He's 35th in points, had an engine failure last week, take him out of contention. You see the cars are firing up, getting ready to roll off here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. As we said, 67 laps worth of action. And this is historically a fast racetrack. It will not be as fast as previous Cup seasons have been. Revert back to one of the older Las Vegas Motor Speedways. See everybody rolling off. Some big names at the back. Jared Oren, last week's pole sitter. The 99, Eli Bright, who's a couple of the NS racing cars not qualified particularly well. But everyone is rolling off, which is the most important aspect. There is our championship leader, Henry Gore. He's got a lot of work to do today. He starts a lot further back than he would have hoped. So he's got a lot of cars to overtake. And we'll see if he can do so and he can hold his championship lead, of course, after this race. Still 24 left in the season, so it is a 2 pit stop race. You'll see the first stop around about lap 26, 27 perhaps. It will be that kind of run. And so towards the end, we might get some strategy. We saw strategy come to the fore at Texas in particular. I've seen it on a couple of occasions this year. Pace cars on pit road. Here we go, out in the west once again. It's Kian Rowley and Dawson Miller to lead the field to the green. We're underway in the race here at Las Vegas, the BetMGM 400. Complete lap 1. Matthew Hubert was ready to go in car race. He jumped straight to the lead, passing Kian Rowley very quickly. But now he's under attack from Dawson Miller, who got back down to the inside. And now he's going to take the lead away from the number 8. You've got Charlie Davenport up here in the 52, going for second. Noah Clifton in the 13. Our last winner, of course, also working his way forward. This is a racetrack where you can make a lot of overtakes. You can really start from anywhere, but more often than not, if you start up towards the front, you typically have a much better chance of winning this race, as Miller now clears from Davenport. And then Clifton, you see Max Davis there in the 6, another rookie driver, and he's had some bad luck this year on occasion, but running quite well. You actually got a few of them up here, as Rogel Dawn now attacking Matthew Hubert, and a battle for second as Clifton now to the inside of Davenport. And Davenport's going to try and use the high side to his advantage, but I don't think it's going to pay off for him. The inside lane is definitely the preferred lane here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And Clifton, on the back of that win last week at Texas, now going to the second position. He gets clear of the 52. Max Davis right there as well in the 6, who had a solid run last week, it should be said as well. 15th in the race, although, as we talked about, has had some bad luck throughout the season. You see these guys on the outside at the moment, the guys like Hubert and Anthony, Kian Rowley, our pole sitter, Brandon Betts started up towards the front. You know, a lot of these guys, Tristan Allen's another one, they're slowly falling back on the outside. The outside lane is not where you want to be. It's not a great position to be in, as Rogel Dawn has now got ahead of Davenport, and Davenport now starting to drop back a little bit. Alexander Rowe here in the 51, also on the inside, going looking for a top 5 position in this race. He's ran top 5 pretty much at every race this year, maybe with the exception of Daytona, where he wasn't really that quick. But the 51 had a tyre issue at COTA that sent him from top 5 down to 39th. He finished 38th last week after a poor pit stop. He qualified on the front row. So just hoping for a nice and clean run here today. He's now up to 5th ahead of Davenport. And here's Rogel Dawn pressuring the back of Max Davis' car. So some newer faces up towards the front of the field here. Of course, you've got these two guys. Dawson Miller, one of the most experienced drivers in the field, well over 100 starts now, 11 race wins in the series, second most, only behind Tristan Allen. If he does win today, he would tie Tristan Allen for most wins with 12. He's been around for a long time. Noah Clifton got 2 wins on the channel. He's been around. He's been around not that long, I suppose. He was around in the very first Cup Series, but back in season 1, but only made 5 starts that year and came back in season 5. But these guys like Davis and Dawn, for example, very new to Cup Series racing, doing a very nice job, and they're not the only ones inside the top 10. How about Addison Steinbach here in the 98 doing a good job? Top 10 in the last 2 weeks. He seems like he's found his footing here at DW Motorsports, replacing Jake Rogers. A bit of pressure on him to perform this year, as is always the case at DW Motorsports, but he's doing a nice job here in this race. He's the highest DW Ford at the moment. In fact, I think he's the highest Ford in general, so the 98's doing a nice job. He's going to the inside of Davenport, and this will put him up to the 6th position. Crampton has had a couple of bad weeks here. The 97, Travis Crampton, has had some poor performances. It's dropped him well down the order. He's 22nd in points coming into this race. But he got off to a good start and currently outrunning all of his vastly experienced teammates. Got Watson back in here with Julio Caesar as well. This is a battle for the back end of the top 10. Good to see some battling throughout the entire field, but they're very spread out. And this is the one thing, if you've gone back and watched these older Las Vegas races, there's a lot more spread out compared to what you would have seen. There are plenty of races where they'd have over 20 lead changes. And they were shorter races too. They're 54 laps instead of 67. So it is a significant difference. And I tell you what, Noah Clifton is humming at the moment. On the back of that win last week, he's got a very fast race car. He's closing in on his teammate. This is a track that Nicotech Racing have done well at in the past. They've won three races on road here back in seasons 2 and 3. The winningest team at this racetrack, and currently first and second. They've also got 26 inside the top 10. As Steinbach closing in here on Alexander Rowe. They've dropped the guys behind. Charlie Davenport struggling a little bit perhaps as this run goes along, and trying to hold off Travis Crampton, I should say. And Hubert's bounced back. He's up to the 9th position after dropping back. Caesar inside the top 10, currently in car 26. Change up at the front of the field. Let's quickly take a look through. There's our our winner from last season in this race, Dominic Anthony. He made a last lap pass on Kelly Lee, took the win away right at the end, and it's his first win in a fair while. Hope he can go back to victory lane here today. Jake Rogers right in front of him in 11th. Richard Fridge is 13th in the number 20. Benny Watson dropped back there a little bit. He is now down to the 14th position. Alex Sanfatale had a good start to the year, has dropped away a fair bit, but he's running all right. All the Hedgehog cars inside the top 15 at the moment. Josh Williamson trying to get to the inside of 37. That was close. He's hoping to make the most of this opportunity. Of course, outside the top 35 of points, he has to qualify his way in at the moment. But he's running quite well. He qualified 18th, and here he is trying to get to the top 15. And he's ahead of some good drivers. Kelly Lee was 60 points. Colin Denton's had a good couple of weeks. He's had a couple of top 10s, that top 5 at Texas. And of course, Tristan Allen, who comes into this race third in the championship. Or tied for second, basically. So the 14 doing... probably not having the run he would have hoped, but he's just got around his teammate. How about this bright green? We've got a couple of bright green cars this week. This is Thomas Troxell. New colours for him, Lumen on the car. Of course, sponsor of last week's race at Troxell. Pacific were quite happy with what happened last week with Braden Perez. And right now, Troxell currently inside that top 20. Colin Denton and 21's dropped back a little bit there the last couple of laps. Brandon Betts started 4th. He's a lot further back than he would have hoped. He's nearly 6 seconds off the lead already in the 27. He's 5th in points coming into this race, so not the run he would have hoped for. Nathan Smith back in here. Will Parrish can rally. Our pole sitter has dropped a long way back. He's 24th. Eli Bright is 25th. He started 39th in this race, so he's made a bit of ground in the 95. Sam Adio, Tyson Gifford, Ludovic Charette, Jack Haas, Brad Perez, who was top 5 last week at the Oregon International Speedway, did a very nice job. Struggling a bit more here today. Christian Vargas in the 36 has dropped back. Jared Oren started last. Not sure what happened to him in qualifying. Didn't have an issue on his lap, so just must have made a mistake, I suppose. Caleb Rose, new colours for him this week as well. He is 30. He's just got around Duncan Ward, so he's 33rd. Bryce Egan, Duncan Ward, those we mentioned. Logan Williams back in there. There's our championship leader, Henrik Waugh, at the moment, 38th. It's been a real struggle for him in this race so far. But he's just getting around the 42, so he just needs to kind of make up as much ground as he possibly can. Eric Monaco in the 42, Kyla Sustre, Annie Thomas, first start of the year for the 73, which means that every single car is now qualified and made a race, which is good news. But Thomas, the veteran in Maley Motorsports veteran team, been a struggle so far this year. They're currently 40th. Roberto Crown Jr. and Leonard Koshma, that's the field as it currently stands. Addison Steinbach, he got past Alexander Rowe. He's got past Rogel Dawn, so this could be a watermark day here for Addison Steinbach. His best finish in the Cup Series is 4th, and that was the Season 4 Daytona 500. That's where he currently runs at the moment in the 98, but the top 6 are the ones to catch at the moment. Miller from Clifton and Davis. No change at the front of the field, but Davis was certainly threatening at times in this run. Good to see the 6, good to see Seminole Motors doing a very nice job in this race. And Davis got a top 10. Oh, was it Texas? I think he had a top 10 in Texas. Pretty sure. So his best has been pretty good. Max Davis just hasn't quite always had his luck go his way. Steinbach, and then they've kind of pulled away here from Dawn and Rowe. Rowe's been an interesting one because he has decent enough speed. I'll get back to that in a minute. Here comes Davis down to the inside of Clifton. His battle for second, couldn't make it work. Clifton was right behind the, well, not right behind, but was behind the 48 and got a bit of a toe off of him. A bit of a draft as now Steinbach threatens, but can't make the move. And so he will stay in the 4th position. Back to Rowe. He's had a lot of top 10 runs, top 5 runs. Of course, he's had a couple things happen in terms of his bad luck, but hasn't quite had the speed of, say, the 13 or the 48, the race-winning speed. So it's interesting for a guy that's won 5 races last season. As Steinbach now to the inside of Max Davis, and he'll get past and up to 3rd. So the 98 is just marching his way forward at the moment, and he's got champion on the car. He's having a championish drive at the moment. He's doing a very nice job for DW Motorsports, given that he's the only DW Ford inside the top 10. Travis Crampton, by the way, I want to make mention of this because he is there as well. He's closing in, so the 97 currently leading the way for NS Racing, doing a very, very good job. And he ran pretty well at Atlanta. Finished in just outside the top 10 in that race. Of course, won the Daytona 500 earlier in the year, so the guy's got talent. So hasn't quite had luck go his way in the last few weeks. Dropped him well down the points, but here he is running 7th, and he gained 3/10 on the leader that last lap. So this car is quick. Keep an eye on him as this run goes along. And of course, these guys back here: Caesar, Anthony, Hubert, Davenport, and Watson also just outside the bottom half of the top 10, and well, just outside the top 10. Here goes Steinbach to the inside, trying to get the run on Clifton. That can't quite make it work. Clifton got the run on the outside. The tyres have certainly worn in, and that's something that you will see as these runs go along, as the race goes along. It is harder to overtake on the inside. The inside is definitely the preferred lane. It is harder to overtake in 1 and 2 when the tyres have worn out. Have worn to this extent. In terms of lap times, they're not quite a second down, but they are getting pretty close to being a second off their peak lap times. But Steinbach has got a race-winning car by the looks of it, given what we've seen here in this opening stint. The Champion Power Equipment 98. DW Motorsports looking for their 39th Cup Series win. And Nicotech looking for their 34th. Now Dawson Miller, is he... I thought he was going to pit. You had to check up there a little bit. Top 7 now in the line. You can see Travis Crampton has joined the back of this queue. So these are the 7 at the moment that have got the race-winning cars, you'd think, at the moment. As Steinbach now dives to the inside of Clifton. He's going to be able to make that inside lane work through 1 and 2. Side by side here in 3 and 4, and Miller's going to pit. They've got to be careful. Got to be real careful. They're hooking each other. They're making contact. Clifton's almost in the wall. Clifton's got to come down. Oh, that is... Wow, that was so close. That could have been a disaster. It is a disaster for Railway Crampton because they got held up tremendously, and you can see they're now behind Caesar. That was... Wow. That was almost disastrous. And that was Clifton, who was trying to come down as well, but was on the outside of Steinbach. That didn't do him any favours. So the 98, who stayed out longer, takes the lead of this race. And here he goes. He's going to come down now. So pit stops for the entire field. There's our leader at the time of the first pit stop. And Miller gets out ahead of Clifton and Rogel Dawn and Davis as well. So it looks like Davis dropped at least one spot to Rogel Dawn. So good pit stop for the 04. And we'll see where these guys come out now related to the 98. There's Steinbach. He comes out. Whoop, that was close there with Roberto Crown. It's not going to be great. He's going to be held up here a little bit perhaps. There's Caesar and Crampton. I'll tell you what, Crampton and Rowe, they wouldn't be happy about what has happened there. And fair enough too. Luckily, no contact, and everybody kept it straight. I reckon Miller, yep, there he goes. Miller's going to jump out well ahead of these guys. So good pit stop. Good call to come down early, and that's one of the big things that I keep harping on about, at least, is you get a clean pit road, you might as well make the most of it, come down early. And get some, the tyres, fresh tyres a lap before everyone else. Also get that clean pit road. You're not getting held up by anybody that you saw. Steinbach, for example, he certainly got held up there on pit road. And he's dropped back now to effectively 5th position. As Bryce Egan, who's done that a few times in the 18, he was the last guy to pit, along with Logan Williams, so gets a bonus point for leading a lap there, Bryce. He's done that a few times here in the Cup Series this year. I'll keep going past the rest of the field. So Miller leads from Clifton and Dawn. They're the three at the moment that have pulled away. And this would be a great day for Rogel Dawn if he could get his first Cup Series win. And the GRL champion from a few months ago now is proving his worth, but we've got a battle for the lead. Noah Clifton to the inside of his teammate Dawson Miller. He closed in here on this run. Of course, it was Clifton in the second run. He got out ahead of the field. Had a clean pit stop, got ahead of the field at Oregon, and never looked back. Basically, didn't lose the lead on track from that point onwards. Lost it on pit road because he had to pit, and some drivers stayed out longer, but never lost the lead from that point onwards. On the track. And so here he goes again now to the inside of Miller. So side by side here for the lead, and this is impressive from Clifton. This is what we anticipated he could do this year in one of the best teams in the series. Clifton on the inside of Miller. He's going to make it work. And how about Dawn sniffing around here in the Procore 04? And he's going to have a crack. He got a good run there. He might have a crack for the lead. Clifton way up out of the groove. And Dawn now side by side for the lead on that inside. Can he hang in there into turns 3 and 4? Doesn't look like it. Clifton got the run off. And the 04 will at least get around Dawson Miller. So he is up now to the 2nd position. This is an outstanding day for him at Premier Racing Motorsports. And good to see for the 2nd week running, rookie driver really making his himself known here in this series. Top 3 have pulled away from Max Davis, who just had a slow enough pit stop to where he's now 2 seconds off the lead. He is ahead of Steinbach. Don McAnthony here in the 39s running quite well once again. Same with Caesar. They're 6th and 7th. Now Travis Crampton lost a lot of time because of what happened there with Clifton, but he's done a decent enough job recovering. He had a good pit stop. He's 8th. Charlie Davenport's 9th. And Alexander Rowe is trying to make up for what happened there on pit road as well. He's up to the 10th position. And Miller all over the back of Dawn here for 2nd. Still, this is very promising for the 04 if he could still get a top 5 finish here in this race. Even if he doesn't win, It is a very promising sign for this car and for this team, Premier Racing Motorsports, that they're capable of going out there winning races, and they'd be pretty happy with the fact that this guy, this Dutch driver that's just come into the team and is only making his 6th career start, is up here racing with the big guns in this series. And Clifton may be the biggest gun of all at the moment because he's doing a magnificent job. I want to look through the field, because there's the 71 at the moment. Henry Gore is 26th, so he's having a really tough day. And Tristan Allen's not going particularly well either, so that opens the door. It really opens the door here for the two Nicotech boys, Clifton and Miller. If they can go on and finish in these positions, they'd be the favourites, because Clifton would take the championship lead and Miller would be second. So doing themselves a lot of favours here with making the most of their opportunity, I should say. And as for Rogel, he's 20th in points coming into this race, so he's still in a very good position. In top 5, if he can hang in that top 5, I think he'd take that. Especially bemoaning the year he's had so far. He kind of in the mid pack rather than up where he believes he should be at the front. But this is a very promising run for him and for this team. He's under pressure from Miller. He's going to hold him off at least for the time being. Julio Caesar's the one on the move as well. So 3 of the Nicotech cars inside the top 6. He just got around Dominic Anthony there in the 39. And Crampton's still got that fast race car because he's still hanging around these guys as well. Davenport, this is a good run for Davenport inside the top 10. He'd be happy with that. There's Rowe and Watson. Watson's kind of hasn't had the speed in this race that maybe I thought he would have. It's been an interesting one to say the least with the 96, especially with the way the 97's running at the moment. Looks like Clifton once again for the second week running. Once his car hits clean air, it's just a rocket ship. It's already pretty fast in dirty air, but once he hits the front of the field, it's pretty hard to stop. Miller once again having a look to the inside. He wants that second position because he feels like he's led a lot of laps in this race. Got a good enough car to go out and win this race, but he's got the 04 in a way, and that is costing him big time. 13, if he can go back and be back-to-back wins, be the first driver to win multiple races this year. We'll look throughout the field. There is Thomas, by the way, and this is, of course, the week that the Lumen car hits the track for the first time. The bright green car is the first week that Thomas hits the track in the Speedy Cash Chevrolet. But good to see the 73 in this week. There's the 71. It's dropped a position to Vargas, so trying to get back to 26 now. There's Kean Raleigh in the 10. You've got some interesting drivers back in here. Denton and Tristan Allen has struggled. He's 17th, but he's trying to work his way forward. Kelly Lee, Brandon Bent back in here as well. He's 14th, so it could have been a lot worse for him. See if he can make any ground here at the end of this run, but not a whole lot going on. Now, Caesar's actually, I'll tell you what, Caesar's closed in here on the 98. He got past him, and he's brought Anthony and Crampton with him because they're now closing in. And they're right in contention here, and I wouldn't say they're in contention for the win, but certainly in contention for the top 5. But I do want to make mention, Max Davis is now within 2 seconds of the leaders, so it's not unreasonable to think that the 6 could close in and get onto the back, latch onto the back of the top 3. But he'd have to do it quickly because we'll be approaching that next round of pit stops, and he is slowly but surely chipping away at that gap. So we'll see what the 6 can do. Miller once again right on the back of Dawn, but not close enough. Heading off into 3 and 4. Rogel's doing a nice job. He's kind of probably doesn't have the speed that Clifton has. He's got good enough speed to hang on to this second position. He's kind of just blocking him at the moment aerodynamically, but probably doesn't have the speed of the 13 in front. And that's been on display. Now, this car's the one to watch. Caesar has he has found his footing in this race, and he's working his way forward very, very well. His car is very quick. He's now under 2 seconds off the lead in the 26. So Nicotech can have 3 cars. They've got 3 cars inside the top 5. They may have 3 cars inside the top 4 in a second. They probably will, because here he goes to the inside of Davis. It's going to hurt these guys just a little bit, because they're going to lose time on the cars ahead. But 26 feels like he's got the quickest car on the racetrack at the moment, and he's going to make the most of this opportunity. So he's up to 4th. Should get clear of Davis, and he will. Still a good run for Davis. 3 rookies inside the top 7 cars at the moment, so it's an impressive run for these guys. And Davis now vulnerable to Steinbach. There's Crampton, and he's just got around Dominic Anthony, so fair bit going on. But Noah Clifton, not as much going on up at the front. He's in a nice cozy position where he's not being challenged by Dawn, and he can just conserve a little bit here. It's been a nice and clean and green race, which is unusual for Las Vegas. And only once have we had a caution-free race, and that was the Season 5 race. Of course, that was very different. And this racing has been very, very different to what we have seen over the years. Miller, once again, on the back of the 04, just cannot do anything about Rogel Dawn currently. And that's hurting him big time. Probably, if he could get around the 04, he could probably catch up to the 13 in front, but he just can't do it at the moment. Coming to 20 to go this time, Noah Clifton looking for his 3rd Cup Series win and 2nd in a row. And that'd be very, very impressive. And to do it on intermediates, where the bulk of the schedule is, these are the bulk of the tracks that we're running. It's a promising sign for what he could be, where he could be at by the end of the year. Caesar has got clear of Davis. Davis has held on to 5th at the moment. He is still ahead of Steinbach, so that is still a nice position for him to be in. Same with Crampton. You do wonder with Crampton, you do wonder if you have what he could be doing in terms of a race win if he wasn't held up by Clifton entering pit road. Because he's got around Anthony, he's clearly got a fast car. So the 97, still, I think there'd be frustration, but I think he'd be pretty happy with the overall performance of the car. And Anthony's dropping off a little bit here as the run goes along as well. So it's interesting. Charlie Davenport, by the way, he's dropped a long way back. I think has Rowe pitted? The 51? Oh dear, an engine on Alexander Rowe. So he should be, I think, out of the race. He is. Jake Rogers also out. I'm not sure when that happened. You would have seen them on the bottom of your screen. I'm not sure when that happened. That is a terrible blow for both of those guys. Rogers 7th in points. Alexander Rowe was, I think, 15th or 16th in points coming into this race. And both of them out. And it continues the bad run of form for Alexander Rowe. If this continues to happen to him, that's going to take him out of championship contention pretty quickly. So Noah Clifton gets past Eric Monaco. He puts him a lap down. And now Miller got a good run out of turn 2. He had a peek down to the inside. Decided, you know what, I'm not gonna make that move. I'm not close enough. But you can see these guys slowly creeping in and closing in on the leaders. Caesar, Davis. And then the battle back here between Steinbach and Crampton. But these two guys now, Caesar and Davis, closing right in on Dawn, on Miller. They're now about a second. That would almost certainly be less than a second. Now Miller's got to the left rear corner. Couldn't quite hang in there. Dawn was able to use that high side, get the grip off there, get the run. And so he holds him back, but you can't count these guys out. Caesar and Davis at the moment, they're closing in at a very fast rate. They're now under a second behind the 48 in front. So these guys back in contention to win this race. They've dropped away as Crampton and Steinbach, they've dropped them off because those two guys were battling. But these guys right in contention. Dawn, is he going to the inside of Monaco? Yes, he is. Or is he going to pit? He's going to pit now. Here we go. So we're going to have pit stops. Miller stays out long. Clifton and Dawn in early. Max Davis also down in the 6th. So this is a big stop. You see, Rogel's got that one of the earlier pit stalls. The pit stalls here at Las Vegas, slightly different to, well, very different to what you'd normally see in a You know, a lot of these tracks, the order's quite jumbled up. There's Davis. So we'll see. You'd expect the two leaders to come in here, Monaco and Caesar. It's a lot cleaner this time around the pit entries. And look at Caesar. Look how much time he's gained on the 48. Steinbach is running it long in the 98. Looks like he'll be the only one. Crampton also down, along with Watson. There's the 13. Oh, Anthony has closed in. So maybe a bad pit stop. It was a bad pit stop for Noah Clifton because Dawn has got ahead. Davis has got ahead. This is a big moment. Richard Fridge, Brandon Bent staying out. Matthew Hubert. They're praying for a yellow. Where is... Well, there's the 97. He's getting serviced at the moment. There's Miller. He's getting left sides now. Julio Caesar in the 26. There he is. He's behind Crampton. So Crampton's in the game. So this is very, very interesting. Miller's got out ahead of the 97, but not by much. And the 97 is very, very quick. Where do they come out relative? There's the 6 of Max Davis. There's the 4 of Dawn, and Dawn's going to round him up. This is a big moment. Rogel Dawn effectively takes the lead. Where is the 98? There's Steinbach. He is done. He was the next one on pit road. So let's see here. There's Dawn. I think Dawn will get him. I think Dawn should get past. Or maybe not. Well, it'll be close. It'll be close. No, he got him. Dawn is the leader of the race for Premier Racing Motorsports, and Max Davis is second. Dawson Miller will be third. Travis Crampton will be fourth. A terrible stop for Clifton. He lost so much time. Same with Caesar. They all lost time on their pit stops. Rogel Dawn leads. We're coming to 11 laps to go, so still plenty of time for those guys to claw up that margin. But that is official. Rogel Dawn is the leader of the race for Premier Racing Motorsports, with Davison second, Miller third, and Crampton fourth. And Crampton could well be the one to watch. He's got to run to the inside of the 48. So Crampton, oh, Miller's going to shut the door on him. I thought he had enough there going into turn 3. He didn't. But the 97 could well be one to watch. Dominic Anthony, he knows how to steal wins away here at this place. He won here back in Season 5 with the last lap pass. The margin, 1.4 seconds. Miller closing in. Davis struggling here a little bit at the moment. Miller should get a run. He's got a run. He got a little bit squarely off the turn. Is he close enough? He wants to make a pass, but is going to stay behind him for at least the time being. Rogel Dawn has caught up to lap traffic. He's got around Ludovic Charette. And Roberto Crown Jr. is the next one in line. But the margin now under a second from first to second. Miller with a good run through turn 2. He got a massive run to the inside here at Davis. Side by side for second. They're trying to chase down Rogel Dawn. Davis tries to shut the door. He has to get up out of the groove a little bit. Give him a little bit of space as they approach the 23 of Charette. And Dawson Miller will get up to second place. So the 48 gets past Davis, up to second. Davis still third. Anthony now up to fourth. Working on Crampton. Clifton trying to get back there. Steinbach's in the game. It's a race for the top 7 at the moment as Miller now goes to the inside of Charette. Does he have enough speed to get the catch and then get past Rogel Dawn? Charette staying well out of the groove here in car 23. That's going to hold up Crampton. That's going to hold up Steinbach. Davis gets past. Anthony and Clifton, they all get past. The margin back out to over a second here for Rogel Dawn. Looking to get his first ever Cup Series win, the GRL champion from earlier in the year. The only race he's ever won was New Smyrna, the first race of that season. It's been a fair old while, more than a calendar year since he won. But Dawson Miller is quick, and he is trying to close in here on the 04. We got 6 to go. Rogel Dawn, the margin stabilised for 1.08 seconds. Davis is still third. Anthony is fourth. Clifton and Steinbach, and then Crampton, who really lost out as a result of what happened there with Charette. Julio Caesar in the 26. He's too far back, you'd imagine. But he's 8th at the moment. So 5 to go for Rogal Dawn, looking for his first Cup Series win. He just lost a bit of time. He lost about 0.17 seconds back to Dawson Miller. So the 48, the 48, he will close in a hurry. But can he get past the 04? That's the question. Davis in 3rd, probably doesn't have the car at the moment. Anthony closing in. Anthony might have a run to the inside in this battle for 3rd. Nope, Davis is going to hold him off for now. So Max Davis remaining 3rd. Then Anthony, Clifton, Steinbach. Crampton's dropped off a little bit. Clifton going to the inside of Anthony. Can't make it happen. The margin now less than 6.5 tenths. You can see it. You can visibly see the difference now between Dawn and Miller in this battle for the win. Dawson Miller has won 11 times in the Cup Series. One of the most experienced drivers in the field. He is hunting down Rogal Dawn, who's never won a Cup Series race. It's only his 6th career start. But he has won the GRL Championship a couple of months ago. He won at New Smyrna in that first race of the season. But the pressure is all on him because Miller is closing in a hurry and he will get onto the back of the 04. We are coming to 2 laps to go here in the BetMGM 400. Rogal Dawn looking for his first Cup Series win. Dawson Miller, I should say, going for number 12. Here he goes to the inside. Dawson Miller for the lead. Coming to 2 to go. Into turns 1 and 2, and Miller gets past. Dawson Miller takes the lead away. Does Dawn have anything in response? Down the back for the penultimate time. Dawson Miller for Nicotech. Davis still in 3rd. Anthony, Clifton, Steinbach and Crampton. But it's a race between 2 drivers. They're coming to the white flag. 1 lap to go here for Dawson Miller, looking for career win number 12. And to take the championship lead in this number 48. And he has pulled away. He's got it made. He has pulled right away from Rogal. It was so close for the 04. It's not going to be the case. Dawson Miller through 3 and 4. He's going to work on Annie Thomas. Gets around the 73. And for the 12th time in the Cup Series, Dawson Miller wins. He gets it done in the BetMGM 400. And he equals Tristan Allen as the winningest driver in the Cup Series once again. And the 48 is desperate for that elusive championship. He gets it done here at Las Vegas. A career win number 12. His first win here at this track. Rogal Dawn so close to that first Cup Series win. It wasn't to be, but still hats off for a great drive today. 2nd place. Max Davis, well done to Max Davis, P3. Dominic Anthony, Noah Clifton, who had that race probably won. It wasn't to be for him. He ended up in the 5th position. Addison Steinbach, Travis Crampton, Julio Caesar, Benny Watson, and Charlie Davenport inside the top 10. You see the results right there on your screen. It ended up being 0.6 of a second. Such was the speed that Miller had on that final run. He couldn't get past Rogal Dawn for the longest time on the previous run. But he got past him pretty quickly there at the end and pulled away to get that 12th career win and his first of the season. We go over to the second page of results. Brandon Bent ended up 11th. Could have been a lot worse for him today. Matthew Hubert, Kelly Lee, Nicholas Samadeo, Eli Bright, nice job. He started a long way down the order. He ended up 15th today. That's a pretty good drive. Richard Fridge, Kean Rally, Tristan Allen. That's a disappointing day for Allen. Jared Oren as well. Like Bright, worked his way forward. So, and it's racing salvage, a pretty good result. They had 4 cars in the top 20 in the end. Henry Gore, our championship leader, 22nd. It's a tough day at the office for him. Started a long way back, never recovered. You look further down that group of drivers. Josh Williamson, 31st. After a promising run to start, so I'm not sure what happened to him. Tyson Gifford, 35th. It's been a real struggle for him on these speedways. And his return to Cup competition nearly got lapped in this race. And we go over to the final page and the 2 big ones. Alexander Rowe and Jake Rogers out of this race with their own separate engine problems. And they will plummet down the order, you would imagine, after another disappointing race, especially for Rowe. It's been 3 now in 4 where he's had some sort of issue take him out of the running. Here are the championship standings after 6 races here in the Gratton Cup Series, and it is Dawson Miller who leads the championship now by 8 points over Henry Gore after Gore's really tough day. Miller gains a 26-point turnaround in 1 race there for the 48. Noah Clifton moves up to 3rd. He's had 4 top 5s in 6 races. No one else has more than 2. So that's so number 13. He'll be one to watch this year, no doubt about that. Brandon Bent is up to 4th. Tristan Allen drops a lot of ground in that race. He's now 5th in the championship. Top 5 separated by 22. Kelly Lee, Dominic Anthony, Matthew Hubert, Julio Caesar, and Charlie Davenport inside the top 10 in points. You see the rest of your championship standings right there. Here's some big names still. Benny Watson, 60 back. Rogaldorn moves up 6 positions. Jake Rogers dropped a lot of ground in that race. He's now down to 16th in points in the 40. Crampton and Davis back up in the championship after their top 5 or top 10 runs today. Davis top 5, finishing 3rd in that race. And most notably, you go over to this page, this 3rd page, Alexander Rowe drops down to 23rd in the championship for a guy that won 5 races last season, the winningest driver last season. It has been a disastrous start for this 51. He is 92 points off the championship lead. It's been a very, very frustrating run of races for him, and so he'll be hoping to turn that around. Still 24 races, of course, left in the season. Only 20% of the way through, so still a lot of time for things to turn around. Very, very interesting to see how the season plays out without the chase this time for the first time in the Cup Series. That does it for us here at the BetMGM 400 at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll see everybody next week. Colorado for the Budget Truck Rental 500, the first ever race at the Colorado Raceway. Colorado Speedway, I don't know the name off the top of my head, but at Colorado, first ever race there. Looking forward to that one. It'll be very, very interesting to say the least. So congratulations to Dawson Miller on his 12th Cup Series win and his first of the year, and we'll see everybody next week at Colorado in the Budget Truck Rental 500. Goodbye for now.